Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Princely Project. Alright, today we're going to be learning how to get started with Revit, the user interface of Revit software. Alright, a lot of people have been asking me questions on how can we start on Revit. You're just starting new in Revit. So this video is meant to teach us how to get started with Revit software from the beginning, from the scratch. So this is going to be like a video for the basics of the basics. Alright, so stay tuned as we jump into it. Alright, firstly, when you open the Revit software, this is Autodesk Revit 24, and this is how it looks. This is the first thing you see, the first page you see on a Revit software. Whenever you open the Revit software, this is the first thing you see. So what is this made up of? It is only for the models and the families. So here you can see that there are already models I've already created. So you see your recent files and the templates for projects. Alright, so you can see the families as well. You see the families that are already created. So these families are already default families on Revit. So yeah, these are the two things you can see on this page. So on the models, there is open and there is new. So when you have a project that is already in your system or in your desktop or PC, whatever, you can open from here. But for us, we just want to start new. We are beginners on Revit, so we are going to start a new project in this Revit software. Alright, so what we do is that we have to click on this project, click new, and we see here, this is for template files. So you can browse to find any template you want to use. You can use the commercial, you can use the construction, depending on what you want to do. Some of the templates comes with architectural templates, structural templates. There are a lot of templates you can start with. So but I just want to go with construction templates from here. So click construction templates and click open. Yeah, so as I said, we are going to start a new project. So there is also for project templates. So I think this project template is when you are doing a project and there is already template for that project. So just to clarify, all right. But for a project, we're starting a new project as a fresher, as a new beginner in Revit. So you click project and you click OK. All right. So this is the user interface of Revit software. So when you open a project, this is what you're going to see on your screen. But first, before we start working on this software, there are some few settings that we need to do before we can proceed on working with the Revit software. Sometimes it looks so overwhelming. There are a lot of tools here. I recommend that you just go with the settings first. So first thing is that you have to find you have to find your view. So the view is where you have to make some settings on the work environment. So click on the view and look for this particular thing here. It's called the user interface. So the user interface is where we can make our settings on the work environment of Revit software. So click there and you find the project browser, which I have already mentioned that the project browser is very important. The project browser and the properties palette, these two things are very important while working in Revit. So you check it on, it comes up, and then you go back again and look for the properties. So now you can see that these two palettes have opened. Just a second, you will see that now these two things are already here. It looks so overwhelming, like the software is becoming so busy. So yeah, there are still other things over there. If you need them, you can put them, but I don't think we need some of these things there. The most important thing is this properties and the project browser. All right, so I'll also show us another shortcut of how to get these properties, because it's good that you know them theoretically and also know them by shortcuts. So I'll show us another way to find these two palettes. You can click on your keyboard PP. So PP is a shortcut for properties palette. So I just clicked PP and the properties palette just appeared. If you want it to get disappeared, you can also press on your keyboard PP, it disappears. You see, PP, it comes back. You can try it. All right, but for the project browser, you have to look for an empty space on your work environment and right click on the screen. You'll see where my arrow is going, browsers. So browsers, you can see that there is a project browser, there is system browser, MEP fabrication part, P and ID modelers. So you just have to click on the project browser. I'll choose project browser, click on it, then it appears. All right, very clear. Okay, so what's the second thing? Okay, before we move on, I would like to show us something else. Sometimes when you open this software or mistakenly you can maybe mistakenly press a button or a key, and all of these some of these drop downs might disappear, and you will have issues in looking for it, or maybe because as a new user of Revit, these things can be like normal. So you just have to find these minimize to panel buttons. So see what happens. Click on it, it disappears. You click on it again, it disappears. So you want to see them, you have to click there to find them, because sometimes you might mistakenly lose them and you are looking for a way to get them back. So as a beginner, I had a lot of issues with this. So and you know, the button is very small. You can see it there. It's very small. It's very hard to find out. So click on it. You get your tools back. All right. Okay. Then the next thing I want to show us right now is the commands on Revit software. So this software is very organized and well detailed. So that's why I love Revit software. So you have to take everything one at a time, gradually, because there are a lot of informations, a lot of tools that are here that you need to take them gradually, one after the other to know them. So firstly, like I said, Revit is an organized software for collaboration of the architectural designer, the structural designer, the MEP designers, and everybody in the construction project. All right. So for architects, they always come with these commands. This is the architecture command tool. So here you can see a lot of architectural modeling instances and tools all over here. So for the structural designer, you can also see the same. You see the beams. Let's say for the architecture, you can see the walls, and you can also see the shortcut for the wall, which is WA. You see the doors for inserting new doors, for adding doors to the building model. You see the windows for adding windows to the building model. The components is like for adding elements in the model, like loading a family, the chairs, the TVs, all of those interior components in a building. So then for the column is structural column. This is where you find the columns of the structure of a building. For the roofs, adding a roof, ceiling, floor, curtain systems, curtain grills, and so forth, and so many other things, the railings, the ramps, the staircase, and so many other things here, the rooms and room separators, tags, tag area, and the grade. See the vertical walls, dormers, a lot of things that are here. So as you progress in Revit, you get familiar with all of these commands and tools. All right. So the next is the structure. Find the beam for the structural designers. You find the wall. There's a structural wall. There is columns, floor, truss, brace, beam systems, connection automations, isolated. These are structural foundations. So these are structural foundations of wall. So as you can see here, foundations, slabs, so many other things here. You know, the structural elements of a building. You find all of them in this particular command too. The next is the steel. So for the steel, you find the bolt connections, the fabrication elements, the modifier, the parametric cuts, the work plans, and so many other things here. So you see the word. Then the next is the precast. The precast is where we prepare the structural elements. I don't know why it's not highlighted. So maybe I think we don't have any precast on display already. So I think that's why it's not. It's a little bit dark. It's okay. Let's move further. Systems. The systems is where you find the mechanical equipment, like the plumbing features. You can see the dot placeholders, so many things. So take your time to study all of these tools one after the other. See the pipes, the pipe placeholders, the parallel pipes, and so many other things. So this is why I say that Revit is very organized. So insert. All right, this is very important. The insert command tool is very important. So this is where you import or export IFCs, links, images. You can link your card, link Revit, link IFCs, drawing markup, decals, point cloud, coordination models, PDFs, so many other things. can import your card, you can import your PDFs, import your images, load your families, a lot of things that are happening in this. It's very, very important. All right, the next is annotate. So annotate is this is like a dimension to like a dimension command where you find all the commands for dimensioning and documentation of projects. So here is where you use to get a lot of to detail your jobs and make your work presentable. So you see the align, a lot of things, detail lines, tagged by categories. So this is where you make your color fill legends, make your drawings nice and well presentable. All right, so analyze. The next one is analyze. So this is where you have see your space and zones, see structural analytic models. So I'm just taking my time to make sure that these tools, you just get familiar with these tools and work with them on Revit. So massing and sites, as a newbie in Revit, I don't think you need this one, but I'll just explain a little bit. It's just like the landscape of the environment or the site. So these are like topo solids, site components, the parking lots, a lot of things. All right, so collaborate. Collaborate is very, very important for BIM modelers using Revit. So you create your work set, you make collaborations across the different stakeholders in a project. So this is a place where like it's a point of meeting, So this is used to collaborate, create work sets, and share files on cloud. So if you heard about cloud collaboration in BIM, so this is where you do all of those stuff. All right. So the next one is view. The view command tool is very, very important in Revit because Revit is it's a BIM modeling tool. It's a BIM modeling software where you make your 2Ds and you can equally have a 3D visualizations of whatever you are doing on your worksheets. All right, so this is very important. To view your templates, you have your visibility graphics, which the shortcut is VG on the keyboard. So you find your thin lines, your cloud renderings, twin motion. This is like a plugin in Revit. So this is where you find your 3D view, find your sections, the callouts, the plan views, the elevations, the drafting view, duplicate view, the legends, the shadow, the scope box, and so many other things you can find here. You can also find the canvas theme. All right. The next is the manage command tool. This is where you find the materials used in specified projects with their properties, and the next you can find so many things here. You can transfer project standards in this manage tool. You can also specify parameters that can be added to categories of elements in a project. Here you can find the project locations, the design options, the generative designs, the manage projects, phasing, and so many other things that you can find here. All right, so you can see the additional settings with the line styles, weight, line patterns, fill patterns, annotations, half and underlays, sunset, and so many other things you can see here. All right, so that's it. The next is add-ins. The add-ins I always explain is where you can add your Revit plugins like so many like Enscape, Minimotion, and so many other automation plugins you can use in Revit. All right, so the last one is the modify and place component. So I call this particular command tool, like I always say, it's where you create parts. As you can see, you can create parts, you can load families, but we usually use this modify command to modify any geometry that we create on Revit. So once you create any geometry, like any structure or wall or any tool, the modify tool always appears to help you to modify those instances or geometry already created on Revit. This is pretty much about the interface of Revit. In my next video, I'm going to show us how to use grid lines and their dimensions, and also changing units and saving files in Revit. All right. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. Goodbye.